So this is called the New Expression?
We don't have a name yet, Tom.
Are we the first people to bring a camera here and talk about this one? Or has somebody else done that?
No, you're the first person to have a camera and to do an interview with this. What you got to understand is this isn't really about okay, we got this, new bottle, new whatever. It's really about, we decided finally to come out and have a product, New Expression of Maker's Mark. It's a new taste. It's really less about the name as more is about the taste.
Maker's Mark is the only product that Maker's Mark makes, isn't it?
That's right. Now, people have said, well, there's the 101, and we had one that was 101 proof. They said there's a black wax. We had one that was sold in Japan. It's just a little bit older. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we've actually had something that actually has a different taste as a result of deliberately trying to do something, not just higher proof, not just more age.
What inspired the new...
Bill and I got together and we decided that it was finally time to create something. And without trying to just start running down the warehouse or over the distillery and just start screwing around and making too many mistakes, we started to focus. We decided that the important thing was to kind of come up with the taste, the aroma, kind of the profile. What did winning look like? What was this going to look like if we got all done? And we decided that the best thing to do was to try and describe each little component. We wanted an aroma. It was pleasant, full flavored, a little bit stronger or a little bit more pronounced. Had a sweeter note to it, if you will, but more importantly, toasty oak. We wanted some of those toasty caramel oaky notes to really just jump out of the glass. We like forward finish. That's what Maker's Mark is. But we wanted to amp it up. We also wanted to really bring out more of the vanilla notes, and I actually had a little desire to put a little bit of spice to it, if you will, kind of something that would give it just a little bit more of a, hey, wow, that's there. That's a little intensity. We decided that the proof would go up on it as well, Tom, because there are a lot of folks are asking for more proof, but we were also concerned that it would be too alcohol. So we made sure it was soft on the mouth. We wanted that. That was one of the criteria. And then probably the biggest thing is the lingering finish. So we have been playing around. The first decision I came to, and Bill was 100% behind it, was that we needed to start with Maker's Mark as our base, which means that we're taking our final product and then doing something to finish it or do something different to it. That then pointed me in the direction of Brad Boswell, who is the president of Independent State, and they own Kentucky Cooperage. That's where all my barrels come from. Brad is, his father owned the business, and he's been in the business his whole life, and he just loves the business. I approached him and I said, Brad, we'd like to do something different. And he was just as excited as could be. He said, no one ever really comes to me in the bourbon business and asks me to help them develop the taste of a whiskey. They usually tell me what they want, and I give them exactly what they ask for. But it wasn't until he presented us with the most unique discovery that we actually hit this taste profile that we were after. Before I get into all that, what I'd rather do, if it's okay with you, let's drink.
I think we can do that.
Talking about this. So we're going to have 2 glasses this morning, and we're not going to drink. We're just going to sip. We're going to put in on the audience's side, the right-hand glass, our left, Maker's Mark. All right. So before I get to the wood and what we did, I'd rather you taste it, because that way, if you don't like it, Tom, I don't have to tell you about it.
Now, something tells me I'm going to like it if it came from you.
Well, I appreciate that. Your vote of confidence is, I hope I can live up to it. I want you to take a look at both of these, both from, first of all, the aroma, and I want you to start with the Maker's Mark, because that's what you're used to.
Right.
And if you pick it up, the thing you'll always find with Maker's Mark when you nose it is, and I always leave my mouth slightly open and inhale kind of through my mouth.
That's the way to do it, right?
Is a great balance. A great balance of those caramel, vanilla, wood notes, balanced with the alcohol and what grain notes might still carry over. And the surprising thing is it's still got a flavor of alcohol there, but it's so gentle. I mean, it doesn't come across and just overpower the nose. So now my mouth is beginning to water in anticipation for the first drink. Cheers to the first drink of the morning here.
Yeah, that's a good way to begin my morning with Kevin Smith and Maker's Mark.
And yeah, I mean, that's just a great forward taste.
Yeah.
The nose and the mouth are in balance.
Right.
As you move to this next expression, the thing I want you to think about is, what do you recognize that's familiar, and Is it different? So just to kind of just sneak up on it, a little smell of the makers. I want you to take a smell of this.
Well, right away I'm getting some of the vanilla and caramel on the nose.
Yeah, it's amped up a little bit.
It is.
Yeah, it's almost spiking. It's almost like where this one was a little round, this one's a little pointy. This one's
it does. It kind of goes right up at you, doesn't it?
And the spices. I was in New York talking to all those folks when I saw you up there. A lot of them were talking about, I started talking about baking spices. They were seeing different spices kind of coming through. And I don't want to use spice too much because it makes everyone start to think of the wrong thing here. Right. But really, you can see there's a deeper, richer oak note than what you get with the makers.
Right.
Almost like the wood characteristic might be a little heavier. The balance is shifted slightly. Now, as you take a sip of it, Tom, I know what you're going to find is a flavor that's going to grow on you. So just take a sip. Notice how that slow build that you normally get with makers kind of comes up, and all of a sudden, and
it
even
peaks,
now,
doesn't it?
Now do you feel even more? Although you get a full mouth of flavor, most of the sensation on your tongue, on my tongue, is up in the center part, but it's like all of it is just tingling. Much more intense, a little spicier, but notice it wasn't so harsh on the palate. This is at 94 proof, and this is at 90 proof. It lingers. You still tasting it?
Yes, I do. I like it, actually, and by the way, I think it's good. I think it's very good. It has some of the signature qualities of Maker's Mark, but in a different way.
What we did is we worked with Brad Boswell, and the whole goal here was to try and bring those other things I talked about to a point that everyone would go, yeah, there is that smell, there is that taste, and there's that lingering.
But this is the same recipe as Maker's Mark. I mean, this is Maker's Mark.
This is Maker's Mark, and the only difference is that when we made this, we took the barrels, we dumped it, and we ended up putting into a barrel, and then we brought into play this piece of wood right here. And this is a seared oak, if you will, toasted stave. Brad and his wood chefness and his quirky little ways of trying to bring out the flavor of wood takes wood, and he'll actually heat it. And in toasting, you're getting such an intensity of heat that what you'll bring out, or what you'll actually do, is seal and change and drive deeper. But in this process, if you look at the side, what you'll see is that it's actually kind of light in the middle, but yet it's dark on both sides. This is not a char. There was no direct fire on this. What he did is he seared this thing. He seared it with an intense heat as it was going through a heating oven, if you will, intense heat, almost to the point that it caught it on fire. But then he backs it up just a bit so that you don't catch it on fire, and he does both sides. And what he's doing is he's taking the seasoned wood. This is about 18 months that this wood's been seasoned. He traps all these flavors, and he caramelizes things right on top, blisters almost, if you will, here, so you get a lot of those flavors. But yet the penetrating heat doesn't necessarily let any of the other things get out. It's kind of like searing a steak. You know, if you take a steak, put it on a really hot grill, you sear in a lot of flavor.
Are you all the very first to use this?
There's no one else in the bourbon industry that's ever used a stave like that inside a bourbon barrel. And leaving the wood outside, Tom, what you're going to do is you're going to cause the tannins to really break down. So this is a very low tannin piece of wood. How does it break down? Well, stuff will grow on the outside of it, kind of a mold or a fungus, and the little roots will go down inside and get to all the tannins, because that's the food source. That's kind of where some of the starches are, breaking all that stuff down. So seasoned wood is always going to be lower in tannins. Then when you heat it like this, it kind of traps and sears and holds a lot of that in, but also the intensity of the heat is going to create some indirect vanilla flavors that you see in this thing.
Maker's Mark goes into a new charred oak barrel and becomes Maker's Mark.
We literally empty the barrels.
We empty the barrels.
Makers, 150, Maker's Mark. The only thing difference is we don't send it to the bottling hall, we stop it. We open up the barrels by taking the head out and insert 10 of these. They're a little thing in the middle, and we stick them on the inside, if you will, and they're all stacked up right through the middle, plastic rod holding them in place. Seal up the barrel, put whiskey back in top, put it back in the warehouse, and let it sit for about 2 to 3 months.
And when will this be released?
We hope to have this out this summer, hopefully in June, somewhere around there.
What's the distribution going to be like? Where are you going to be able to find it? Is it going to be readily available?
It will be as available as I have enough of it to go around. It's going to be all over the United States. It's not going international. It probably will be tough to find because it's going to sell so quickly. Well, thanks. Cheers.
Here's to the new expression.
We're bringing a culture, a people, and a passion together with one blog. Bourbonblog.com. We only encourage responsible drinking by those who have legal age to drink in their countries or regions. So be safe, be legal, and never drink and drive.